Okay, it's already 9:02. Are we waiting for more people to join, Francis? Or we can just start since it's recorded and anybody can just, log on and listen to it after now.
Okay, I guess we're going to start as a normal culture. People will join. Good evening from here. It's Lagos, Nigeria, and it is 9 p.m. Wherever you're joining from, it is day 9 of the 10 days of Microsoft Fabric. It is a phase learning because this is phase 1 of this whole learning journey. And what is the best way to start learning about Microsoft Fabric if not from Microsoft itself? And that is why we're taking these 10 days to go through together Microsoft learning part for Microsoft Fabric. So we get this fundamental or basic understanding of the documentation around how Fabric works. Microsoft Fabric is a data analytics platform for the era of AI, of course. So, and one of the things we've discussed or we've learned all over the, in the previous days is how Fabric is solving the challenge of, integration and making sure that all these data rows are now on the same platform, not just on the same platform, they can work, they can do their work more better and faster. So there's faster time to value. And we could see that throughout all the features on Microsoft Fabric because it has both the low code and also the traditional coding end. What data analysts would have been exposed to in the past, now on this platform, you can actually see them and work on them. And so it brings us closer to those understanding, those knowledge. And there's something here. I believe Fabric is going to make possible what we couldn't do before, technically. Because when the Copilot is being finally released, it's going to simplify many of the things we are learning today, which are already simple already. They are simple already because they have the low-code end, but Copilot will still further simplify them so that you can, as much as you can imagine, you can execute them. So what wasn't possible before is going to make it possible because it's truly, truly amazing. Today is day 9, and the consideration for today in the learning module is getting started with data science in Microsoft Fabric. I mean, I would say this is one of my favorite parts. Why? Because, I could remember 2019 when I started the first data science team in my organization then. That was shortly before I went to Paris for a data science competition. I've always loved data science. I've always done data science, maybe not at the enterprise level, but in 2019, I started at an enterprise level. I had to start building models and deploying those models. So I had a lot to learn. And it's interesting today because I tweeted after I've gone through the module for day 10, day 9 rather, I say how important or how cool Microsoft Fabric is for data analysts, for data scientists. So let's look at the provisions on Fabric and how Fabric, enable you to do your work better as a data scientist. Number one, everything starts with data. And this is why we've gone through how to data transformation phases. Data lake, where you put your data. We've gone through data pipeline, using data factory. We've gone through workflow, data flow gen 2. That's the GUI, data transformation. It has its own unique scenario as well. We've gone through data warehousing. We've gone through real-time analytics. And you've seen how you can manipulate data across all these all hand. The end result is advanced analytics because analytics is a continuum. And this just to show to us where they position data, science. Of course, you can plug in visualization here as well as data analysis and data science. This is day 9 out of 10 days. And this to show you that in real life, your work as a data analyst or data scientist does not start immediately. These are the different roles that has to play before you can start getting the value from your data. But today, organizations employ data analysts and they just expect you to perform the magic without taking care of the previous element. Where is this data being stored? What's the consideration around the integration? Has it been transformed? Is there any pipeline running to ensure this data is being transformed? Any form of engineering that has been done? Where's the data warehouse where it has been stored? All these questions are so, as a process ought to have taken place. And the refined data is what a data scientist lands on, even though you still do some form of manipulation. But the data must be more than ready for the work you want to do. So, and in Microsoft Fabric, given that we've gone through all these phases and the data is available, so what do we do? How do you work and build your model in Fabric? First, notebook. And I'm going to explain some concept quickly, which concept of model. We have model. I'm just going to quickly pull up the Fabric environment that I have open on my PC. Under data science, you're going to see on the bottom left, when you go to data science, you're going to see 5 things here. First, model, which is currently in preview. 2, experiment, which is in preview. 3, notebook, which is in preview. 4, import notebook. And 5, use sample. When you are building machine learning model, the first thing you do is you start by training an algorithm. When you train an algorithm, become a model. But if you want to do that, in Fabric, you create. So when you create a model, that doesn't mean a model is there. You can later add objects to that model. So when you are saying model preview, if you create a model, that doesn't mean you have built a model. So when you create a model, you just create a container where you can now later put in the model, the algorithm you have trained. The second one is experiment. Experiment is process of fine-tuning your algorithm. So meaning you might not decide, today now you just use linear regression, linear regressor, or you try out XGBoost or any of those algorithms. But in reality, you have to experiment with them to know which one work better, which one is less biased, which one is more ethical, which one is more explainable, and all those things. And in that scenario, you might have to train multiple algorithms and then look at them. The process of training those multiple algorithms and doing hyperparameter tuning. Hyperparameter tuning is when you are deciding what combinations of hyperparameter in each model give you the best result. So, and that process, you can run all of them at once. It's called experiment. Once it's done, you can then see all the performances of those algorithms. And then it becomes a model. Register it as a model. When you are registering as a model, that's when it's now saved inside the model name that you have created. If you've not created one, it can automatically create one with that name for you in your notebook. And that leads me to the notebook, because Jupyter Notebook is where you perform these activities. When you create a notebook in Fabric, it's a regular notebook, likely the one that we work with in when we're doing data warehouse, or when you were ingesting data into data lake and you just toggle it to a notebook, the same notebook. And in that notebook, you can write flavor of languages. By default, it's always set to Spark, PySpark, which is the Python flavor for Spark. And we've talked about what Apache Spark is. And right there, you can write your Python language within that notebook. So you connect your data, which you are already there. You just use the import and select the directory of the data, which is already in Data Lake. And you start importing. Many of those libraries have been preloaded into Fabric. That's the interesting thing. Fabric Notebook is like Anaconda. When you're learning data science and you're installing Anaconda, it used to come pre-installed with some libraries. And that's how Fabric is as well. It's already pre-installed with some libraries. So all this Python, Matplotlib, some data science or machine learning library like PyTorch, all those things, they're already pre-installed. If you need other libraries, you can actually do them in the package administrator to install them. And that way they become available in the entire environment. So someone else does not need to reinstall it. It's already there. It's been added. Okay. And once you are done training, your model, within that notebook, you run an experiment. Of course, during that process, you run an experiment and you're able to monitor all the algorithm that you are training. You train algorithm and it becomes a model. Okay. And then you deploy. So the process of deployment is very interesting, which I will hold on till we ask question around it. And then because I really want to use it to steer up conversation, till we ask question around that. But this sort of summarize your model. Once you are done with predicting your model, you can actually create a new variable back to your data source and add your prediction to that column on your data source. And you can plug your Power BI to it, so you can definitely start working with that column. But how do you consume it? From external applications, from different sources. We'll talk about that shortly. But let me pass this over to Francis. I think I've taken quite some time now to describe this.
All right, Ola, thank you very much for your submission. I'll just say the things I find interesting about the data science experience in Fabric, because I am not a data scientist, but then I could still work with it because first thing is that you can even start your data science project right from the lakehouse. You don't have to start from the scratch, and then once you have a lakehouse connected, because I try to explore the samples. Data science project that is there. So all I have to do is to load up my Lakers data set, and then without doing the engineering part of the work, you can actually start doing your models on almost immediately. Another thing I find interesting with the data science in Fabric is the fact that uh, even though you could build your models and then you still want to track which model is efficient, like Ola mentioned, even if you don't know how to code, you can actually use the UI interface to generate ML tracks and logs to actually see which of your machine learning model is best performing, to check the other parameters, the metrics, and the artifacts also. Lastly, the fact that you could even save your experiments and you use them, they are usable. So they sort of make sense that, oh, you don't have to start from scratch again. So in matter of split seconds, and these are things that are even possible before copilots in Fabric. So I can just imagine how easy it will be to run machine learning models and build models in a twinkle of an eye. So it's actually a very exciting one for me, not being a data scientist, that, oh, if I can just write some things in natural language, I can get to build models. All I have to do is to just guide the copilot inside of Fabric, and I will just deploy something and I say, yes, I have a model. I've tried several ones, because the ease with which I can deploy it can make me do several models and then record experiments for them and see which one is actually best suited for what I want to do and is performing better. So it's actually a very promising one. So I think I'll just pass on to it so that she can actually moderate the question and answer, and can call it a day.
Thank you so much, Francis and Ola, for that session. Please, guys, if you have questions, you can come off mute and ask your questions, or you can use the comment section down below. We have Ayolua, we have Ed, we have Oluwadu, we have Winem, we have us, we have Collins, Precious, Ayoni, Chocolate, BJ, Ayodele, Prestige, BP Packaging. So please, if you have any questions from today's module, please you can just come off mute and ask your questions, and we'll answer that. You can also use use the comment section to ask your questions. Did any of us go through today's module? Please react if you did. Okay, somebody just requested. Okay. Ayodele Abel Temidayo. I'm trying to approve you. I don't know if it's network. Francis, I don't know if you can approve him from your end, but I'm trying
Yeah,
to. But
I'm doing that already. So
okay.
I didn't please go ahead. Good evening.
Ayodele, I
Yeah,
guess you're a speaker now, so you can just
can you hear me?
go ahead and ask your questions.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you guys?
Yes, yes, affirmative.
Okay, so I can see that this is the nice of the program. So this is my first time joining. The Microsoft Fabric that you're talking about, is it an all-encompassing program where I'm actually learning the fact that
Okay, so somebody is asking, this is my first time on this space. Do you have a training session for Microsoft Fabric? So chocolates, we are going to have an end-to-end project work on by Wednesday, hopefully. And also we've been doing a challenge, a daily challenge. Oh, is somebody speaking?
well, the
Oh,
Microsoft
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, please continue.
the Microsoft Fabric, is it a standalone application
We've had all the passing tools on the side where learners can actually learn.
Hello.
I'm sure
I
you're having network issue because his question was clear. Maybe you couldn't hear because you're having network issue. His question was, is Microsoft Fabric an encompassing platform? Maybe I think I've lost my thought on the question, but it's a informative question around what Fabric is. I will say that we've pinned right there, and this live session now, the old thread for all the days of Fabric that we've been doing. And every day, the Learn modules, the live session, like this Twitter space, all of them are there on the thread. But let me just say this, Microsoft Fabric is a data platform for the AI era. What does that mean? It's a platform that brings together all these data roles, data analysts, data scientists, data science, data engineers, and all these activities on a single platform. It's not just bringing them, it's not just because it's bringing them on a platform, it's solving a major pain point in the data value chain, which is data integration. Because the software as a service platform that handles and simplify that aspect, that element of integrating your data together, and much more than that. And how does it simplify that? By making it software as a service solution. So you don't have to go through all the nitty-gritty of setting up a server, managing those server that will enable you to integrate and put your data together. That is a pain point. Many projects fail there, many are not successful, but it just simplifies because all you have to do is just connect to your data sources, and those elements of integration, it handles it. And beyond that, it then build on top of it, bring together all these data roles. So as a data engineer, on that same data, you can now engineer, do activities, create pipeline, do all those things, and then, all the models you need to create them. As a data scientist, you can now work right on that same platform, connect with your data, the data that is already there, that has been worked on, by these data engineers, or even the one directly in Data Lake that has been ingested to your OneLake. You can work on it. As a data scientist, you can do that. As data analyst, you can do that. So all these roles can now work on a single platform because it is unified platform, unified data, because the data now is no longer duplicated. It's also unified. It's the same copy of data that you're working on across all the entire organization. And that solves a lot of pain points. And governance is also taking place on that platform. So I'm not sure how descriptive enough this is. It's really revolutionary because it has never been like that before. If you go to any organization today, enterprise, you will see that data analysis does not have anything to do with what engineers are doing. When engineers even create pipelines, you don't even see them most of the time. You don't even know it exists. You don't even know maybe there's something that solves your problem. Same thing to data scientists. None of them has visibility into the underlying ingredient for all the things they do, which is data. But on that platform, everything is transparent. It's an open data format of data because it's not possible for you to, it has removed that problem of deduplication of data. And that solves a lot of pain points. And so when you have this kind of platform, it makes it faster to deliver value for the organization. Instead of taking 1 year, 2 years of embarking on a data architecture project, just trying to integrate your data and build the data lake and data warehouse could take 1 year, 2 years. Meanwhile, with this SaaS solution, in a matter of weeks, you have all those things set up. And that is why, we are now saying, as a data analyst, in the era of Fabric, you don't just connect your CSV the way you connect to them before. There's a new data now, there's a new data source. There's a now new platform. So that's why you should be familiar with Fabric and see where data is stored, how it's being stored, and how it's being manipulated or transformed along those different roles that exist on Fabric and those workload. And so once you know all those things, it's easier for you to connect with data in data lake, in OneLake, or consume already data directly from a notebook, all those things. And one thing I didn't even mention in the data, science workload is the data wrangler. The moment you convert your data to Panda structure now, it's then available. You can now use the data wrangler. Data wrangler is data cleaning UI UX. it has the step already to clean your data to make it fit. All you just need to do, click on anyone you want to use. Oh, I want to remove duplicate. Just click on it and select the column you want to use to identify duplicate. It will execute that task for you. Same thing you'll have been using Python script to do. You can now use visual, interface to run those manipulations. So beyond just bringing data together, make it unified, bring all those rows together, Microsoft Fabric is truly making it easier to deliver value to organization, which is what matters now. By bringing this low-code feature all across this workload, we have seen a lot of GUI that simplify things you're going to have even known easily, or might take a longer time to know. Now you have a UI UX easy to use without even Copilot. Easy to use, point and click to get those things done at each of those levels. So it's easy entry point for you and I who only have experience with maybe data analysis with Power BI, or maybe data analysis with Python, or maybe data science alone. And you can, jump on any of this workload and get something done, without waiting for someone. And as you continue to grow your knowledge, in the future, I see all this role really unifying. I've said this before. Every century, there is a redefinition of job due to technological advancement. And we're right in the midst of another one. So we know all these roles. Before you know what is the next 1 year, 2 years, you start seeing a title for all these fabric engineer or fabric developer now, or fabricator or anything. And what you then end up seeing is that a single person is not able to do all these roles. That has changed job landscape forever. So we need to continue to learn and adapt. And I'm just going to stop here.
Okay, Ola. Thank you so much for sharing. Please confirm if you can hear me. I don't know. I think my network was bad earlier.
Yeah, I think it's bad now. I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So someone was asking in the comment section that this is their first time in this space, and that do we have a training session for Microsoft Fabric? And I was trying to explain to the person that we have an end-to-end project session coming up by Wednesday. I guess by tomorrow we'll have full details about that. And also we've been running a daily challenge that we come to ask questions from 9, just like the one we are having here. Ask and answer your questions across each of the modules in that particular challenge. So the challenge is for 30 days, but we've used this first 10 days to actually answer questions around this. So you can go through the recording. I'll just link each of the resources here so that you can easily find all of them. It's just, we don't even exceed 30 minutes. So it's something that you can just listen to, right? And, each of the modules, just follow them up and listen to the Twitter space afterwards. I hope this helps. And if you have questions, you can screenshot whatever it is that you have, or you just want to, type and ask your question. You can do that under any of the resources and tag any of the hosts, and we'll be glad to help. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Please catch up. Like I said, I'm going to link the resources here so you can always go back and watch it when you deem fit. So that's it from here. I don't know if you still have questions. Please ask. Okay, Ola already linked the resources here, so you can just click on that and you'll find them. Francis, Ola, do you want to give us any information about the end-to-end project?
All right, I'm tweeting about it now, and there's a link already to pre-register, and I'm just going to pin it right now. It will also be available in our community. So there's this public community that you might want to join. Let me just open it up and share so that I can share it on this space, and also the Fabric community. So that community is right on Twitter. We're going to be growing it, and then, let me see. Okay. I've shared tomorrow's build an end-to-end solution with Microsoft Fabric. I've shared that. And I'm also going to create that community where you can actually join. Okay. I think I've shared the necessary resources. Yep. That's all for me. Over to Francis. Yep.
All right, thank you. I just want to thank some persons that have been showing up for the past 30 days. Niyi Ogun, Ogunkole, thank you. He has always been showing up. ED, Kenzo, Why? Those are names I've been seeing for the past 9 days that we've been on this. Thank you guys for showing up. And I'm sure that these 10 days has not been wasteful for you. And it has actually incite some test for knowledge in you. So it's nice that we should see you also tomorrow, and you come and learn more hands-on and see the practical session of what we can do with Fabric, so that you appreciate everything that we talk about more. So Faith, I think we can run it up now.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis. Thank you everybody for joining. It has been quite an amazing journey. We have tomorrow to go, but tomorrow does not stop you from continuing your access to the learning and also the environment that you've created. So please continue to learn, and like I said, you can always post your questions, send screenshots or ask and tag anybody, and they will answer. So for the session by Wednesday, Ola already dropped it here, so you can just check that out. Also, we have a community like Ola said, so please, the link is also here. Check that out and please join. So that'll be it from all of us here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Francis and Ola, for taking us through this journey. Thank you so much. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same venue, same station. Bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
You are the new entity. Bye.